friends, this is Jamie. I want to welcome you to my channel today. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Today I'm going to do a video on coloring with alcohol markers. I'm going to be coloring this page. This is a ChromaGnomes page. You can access this freebie on the ChromaGnomes Facebook page. And it's not this month's freebie. You have to look back in the albums of freebies, but it's there in there. And I thought I would color this page because it has wizards in it and the Enchanting Year of Color hashtag that I have going on. The theme is wizard for the month of August. And I had a request to show how I color with markers, so might as well do two in one, right? My kids are asleep, hopefully, knock on wood. And I thought I would just do a little bit of coloring and kind of talk about markers. I have these CaliArt, which are the broad and fine. Broad is another word for chisel. And then I also have Ohuhu brush and broad right here. So I have that one. And then I also have the Artex sketch marker. And this is a broad and a brush. So those are the ones that I have at my desk, or at my table, I should say, at the moment. I have found these three particular brands do not yellow. So if you're interested in the market for alcohol markers, you're looking for things that don't yellow, these don't yellow. These CaliArt, I have the 100 set, and they have color numbers on the ends, but they do not say a color name. And same goes with these Artex markers. They just have the number on the end. Now the Ohuhu does say a color name on the end here. So that's something a little different with the different markers. And I'm just going to kind of get started so I'm not just talking and not coloring. Yeah, I have no idea how I want to go about doing this, but yeah, we'll just kind of go for it. Let's see. I think I'm going to start with this lighter green marker, and I have some scratch paper on the bottom. I just color to the side there just to see what color I'm getting, because I don't swatch out all my markers. I'm not really a swatch person. I just do what works for me. As you can see, I am using the chisel end instead of the fine point end because I can cover more ground, and with a chisel I can make it as skinny or as fat as I want. And I'm just going to try to color in this circle here. And what I try to do when I'm going over it is I try to keep a consistent flow as I'm going, because you want it to remain wet or else you're going to get lines. Now, if you are going to put pencil on top, lines shouldn't be too big of an issue because you can usually cover them up. And one of the reasons why I chose this light green is in case I accidentally go outside the lines, I can, like if I accidentally colored that bat or colored on the flowers, I can color right on top and you won't even realize. That's why it's nice to do the backgrounds first. Now, the paper I'm using is cardstock that I got from Walmart. It's the Pen and Gear cardstock. I think it's like 140 pound, but I'm not sure. So what I've done here is I just color, just your basic color. And if I wanted to give it a little bit of a shadow or something, or an outlining technique, I would just take my, like a next shade darker, which this is just a darker green. I don't know if it's the next shade darker, but I'm gonna put it next to that. That looks way too dark. So I'm gonna go back into my bin. That's a little bit better, but still pretty dark. I'm just trying to find a color that I'm happy with. And it's always tricky when you're on camera because, yeah, I think we'll go with that. So I'm gonna go with the G715, and I'm gonna take my fine this time, and I'm just going on the line, like right next to the line. And it will create like a shadow, giving the appearance of a pop away from the page. And I'm just going right next to the line. Now, if there was like blades of grass like here, I could use this on the blades of grass, but I'm not going to. This is just like your very simple technique where you color and then you outline, which is really simple. Let's make, I'm gonna try the brush tip. We'll make these flowers pink. And I think I'm kind of hard on my brush tips, but it is what it is. Just going to do these flowers real fast. And I printed this off on an inkjet printer. Kind of waited for it to dry a little bit so that this marker doesn't cause the ink to run. Since I did those pinks, I want to go for a darker pink, and I'm going to choose my one with a fine because I'm going to go in and I'm just going to go on the one side of each petal and in the middle. Try and give the appearance of a little shadow. Like that. I don't know what these little critters are, but they're little furry things with unicorn horns, some kind of mythical thing. Okay, so we got all those flowers done. Now I have some bleed out into my little circles, and I could just use my markers and color those in, but for fun, I'm going to use my Moonlight Jelly Roll because my Moonlight Jelly Rolls are opaque, so you can just color in the centers and it will cover anything that bleeded through the center, just like that. Trying to see what we want to do. And what I tend to do is I put all the markers and pens that I use next to me so that when I am working on a page, I start to use the colors I've already used. That way all the colors are flowing throughout the whole page. That's just kind of a tip if you want to try to keep your colors kind of, I don't know, what you call reined in. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we'll just kind of, let me see, we'll do one of those little furry guys, I think. pen on me. Yeah, my moonlights weren't dry. I smeared it. See how I smeared that a little bit? Because I put my hand in it. Oh well. Life goes on. I'm going to use the chisel. I actually prefer the fine and the chisel over the brush sometimes because I can cover more ground quicker before it gets dry. That guy's kind of grumpy. Let's see if we've got a... Let's try this Artex one. That might be too light. I only have my pastel brush tips out here. That's too light too. Well then, I was gonna show you how to do a fur technique, but I need a darker color. Let me grab my, that's my chair, guys. My Ohuhu brush tips. Let's see. It's not really the color I'm looking for either. This is a darker color, but it's not really purple. I really need to get some more of the brush tips. So this isn't really purple, but I'll give it a go. So I'm gonna go from the hair and I'm gonna, like, you push down and you lift. Kind of giving a flicking motion in the wrist. And I'm gonna take that purple that I used to color him. I'm gonna take the fine point because I don't have this in the brush. Actually, could use one of these Artex ones. And I'm gonna kind of brush those up a little too. I'm just blending them in. This one's not as juicy as a Ohuhu. It's okay. So kind of blended it in just a tad. Now, I don't mind that it went outside the lines a little bit. And if I wanted to give it even more texture, I could take like a gel pen, like a Jelly Roll purple, and put in some more lines to make it even more fuzzy. Let's do another guy. And we'll do orange. It's a bright color. And I'm not really worried about going all the way to the ends there because I'm going to get a darker color to do that. And I don't mind going into the whites of the eyes because I can always go back in with a white gel pen or white acrylic marker to fix the eyes later. I think that this is a good color, coral pink. That's really bright. Maybe this one. This one might be okay, but we'll give it a shot. See, that one kind of just blends in. We could probably use this one after we use a darker one, so I'm gonna go for this darker one. We'll see how it goes. I do enjoy marker coloring. It seems to make a page go quicker for me. But I do like doing my pencil colorings as well. Just depends on the mood. Just looking for white gel pen so I can fix this a little. It doesn't have to be perfect, but and we'll just make their eyes black. This is just my black sign brush pen. I love these for journaling. And just so you can get an idea of what I was meaning about adding more flicks with gel pen, I have this Moonlight Jelly Roll that's one of the new pastel colors. I can bring that in and bring some texture to the ends of his fur. Don't want too much, just a little. Gives him the illusion that he's more of a fuzz puffball, as it may be, kind of like that. And if you wanted to, you could even go in with a white and add some lines too. You want to go outside that black line. Extend the fur. We could do it with the purple guy too. So this is just a regular purple. And we could take lighter lavender color, add some of that too if you wanted. Make these fur guys a little more than just one color. Wanted. And let's see. How do we want to do their little horns? I think I want to add some sparkle. So we're going to add some purple to that guy. And I'm going to add orange to this guy. And I want their base color to be, well, we make it this bright yellow, like the center of the flowers. It stands off the page a little. Nice, bright and fun. There we go, that's fun. So now I like him having like a little collection starting to form here, which is fine. Let's move on to another bubble guy. Let's maybe do this wizard guy right here. First I'm gonna find me a peach for the skin here. And this one is in the hoo-hoos. And since this is so small, you don't really have to worry about that creating the lines thing, because these images are so little. I mean, while I have this out, I could go in and do her as well. Trying not to go over the black lines because of my inkjet printer. Do the best I can. And this guy, did I miss anything on her? I think not. I think the best advice I could give you if you want to work with alcohol markers is to just practice makes perfect type of a thing. Just keep working with it, and eventually you'll get what you want out of it. I haven't done too much coloring lately because I've been so busy with like so many things. It's just crazy. So I'm done with that color. Let's see if I can find something slightly darker than that. There we go. This is a fine tip. I'm just going over, basically what I did with that green line, I'm going over the lines creating just like a little bit of a shadowy outlining effect. And there won't be too much to do because they're so small, so guess I could have made this rich green like Elphaba, but it works. Is anybody excited for Halloween? No, it's not that far away. I'm so not ready. Today we had major rain. Today was the first day of school for my kids. And my son got sick on the first day. He's not even gonna be able to go tomorrow because he's so sick. It's like, what kind of luck is that, poor guy? I had one of my markers spilled down here. It's okay. I noticed with the markers that are the fine and the chisel, they tend not to leak ink as bad as like a brush tip. And I've also noticed my brush tips tend to stick if you don't clean them. And when I say clean them, example, so this marker I know I've used. See how down in the core there's ink, and around this tip you can see a little ring. You need to clean those with either alcohol wipe or baby wipe occasionally. Like this one I haven't really used, so that's not too bad. Because if you don't, after a while, after time, it will make it hard to open these. They'll like stick. It will act sticky, and then when you finally bust it open, ink will go everywhere on your page. So I found that a big problem with the brush tips. So if you have brush tips, I would advise doing what I'd call marker maintenance, where you clean your markers. And if you have the Ohuhu brush tips, you can actually take this out when it's starting to fray. This one's starting to fray, and it looks exactly the same way inside this barrel, and you can flip it. You can't do that with the Cali Art brush tips or the Artex brush tips. I don't believe you can do that. Just with the Ohuhus, I think. I'm not sure on Copics. I don't know that much about that. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's find a... I want to find a really light gray color. Something light enough that I can go over this guy's beard. Because I want it to still be white. I just want to create like a shadow. Kind of like that. And sorry, my arm keeps getting in the way. It'll be all sorts of colorful. I'm going to, since he has so many things inside his hat, I'm going to go for the fine tip. And I'm just going to try to dodge these things, trying to keep a consistent pace. This is where things can get kind of tricky and lines can form. But since this picture's so small, I'm not too worried. See, there's a couple spots that's kind of blotchy, but I'm going to go over it with another blue to do the outlining. I can find a blue that's somewhat darker. Not incredibly darker, but just darker. I'm just going over the lines. I'm going to go over this part, the edge. Got a little bit on his nose there. So what happens when you have fine details and a big marker. It'll be fine. Because what we can do is we can just give him a highlight on his nose right there. See? No big deal. And we can take our gel pen. This is the Jelly Roll. Stars and stuff. There we go. Very cute. And take this darker blue. I'm just going to kind of color his shoulder just a tiny bit right there. And in the background, since we pulled a purple up here, I'm going to find that purple and I'm going to use that for the background on this guy. So it brings that color down. I'm using my fine end. These tiny spots right under here. Now when you have a larger section, like this is a larger section, what I advise when you are coloring, don't just color in the middle and go around. Start from a really tight corner, like here. I just dipped my hand in moonlight. Of course I did. So now, yeah, it's all messed up, but that's okay. So I like to start from the tightest spot. So I think this would be the tightest spot. And then I go from there and work my way to the other tightest spot. That way it's a consistent flow. There you go. See if I can. Just trying to help the hat a little bit because I put my finger in the moonlight. Kind of took away that outline, but that's okay. That is okay. If I did this in the fine, you're gonna create streaks. So that's why I use the chisel, working my way over to this little corner, fill in this big area as quickly as I can. You can actually see how it dries, and before it dries completely, hurry and go over it to keep it wet to prevent that streak. I got his beard a little bit. But even then, nobody's perfect. See, I've got a little streak right there, but it's not nearly as noticeable as if I had a big streak through here. Desk here. These are actually really fun images to color. They don't take too long and they always turn out really cute. Maybe this was part of his desk too, where I went purple. We'll just put the brown on top. This is dark enough. It'll be fine. And I'm gonna go over with my purple. And I'm using the lighter purple if I can. Just going over that a little bit so it fades in a little bit better. There's that part. Yeah. Just kind of playing, dabbing around. But as you can see, I use a little bit of both. It's not one set thing. And if I wanted to add highlights, I think I could add a highlight to the feather here. But I don't have any like major places I could add a highlight yet. But yeah, with something like this, I like to try to color circle by circle. That way, if I have to step aside, I can come back, and if I lost my colors and everything like that, it's okay. That way it's not a whole bunch of little things colored all over the place. It's just something that I like to do. When I'm doing books, I like to use like, let's see if I can find a color that works. That will work. I like to use like a very light tanny color and just go around the pages just a little like that, just to make them look old, vintagey. Over the tops of that. And we can bring in another color actually. So I'm going to bring in this red. I can hear my son talking. Hopefully he goes to sleep before the end, or before it gets too late in the game. You could even use other colors to go over other colors, like this green I have in my hand. I could go over this brown. Create a line that way if I wanted to. Doesn't have to be the darker shade of that color necessarily. And since my like stars and moon got kind of like not very clean when I colored them, I can take my black and I can go back in and make them look better with like. It's always good to have a black pen that is a good pen for you at your desk to do eyelashes and things that don't always look like clear lines. So you can fix them if you want. Like that. So that's a lot cleaner. And like I could even go over his nose if I'm really careful, which is a task, but so I cleaned up his nose there. But yeah, it's kind of basically my process when I'm using markers. I just kind of wing it. I just pull colors that I feel like works, and then I just put them in. I just, if that makes sense, and hope for the best. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. If it works out, great. This is another technique where you do your outlining first. And then I take my lighter color, and then I would bring in the lighter color. And you would go over everything, even where you went in the dark. Up here. That way it actually gave it a shadow. You didn't even have to work that hard. a lighter brown somewhere. Probably not. I haven't pulled it. It looks good to me. This darker brown. Go over the rope. I'm not going all the way. I'm just going a little bit. Going on the side here. Side. These ones will be darker because they're underneath. If I wanted to give that a highlight, I could. And I could do maybe like the orange highlight because it's a brown rope. But yeah, if you guys have questions about how I colored any of this, just let me know. It's really simple the way I do it. I don't really like overthink it. Sorry, my son's coming in the room, so I will let you guys go. Have a great night, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, friends.